What's up, peeps? It's your boy Paxton, the awesome dude. Welcome back to Paxton Tutorials. Today I'm going to show you how to install Windows 98 First Edition on VMware. And in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how. I'm installing it on this video here. And also, for this tutorial, I am not going to be installing Microsoft Plus, since I'm saving Microsoft Plus for the Windows 98 Second Edition tutorial. So, if you want to install First Edition, this video is for you. So, without further ado, let's begin. So, first thing we need to do, also, before we begin, make sure to install Patcher 9X. And of course, one thing I gotta do is to convert my Patcher 9X file into a different file. Go to Windows 98. Then Patcher 9X, that's the thing we need. We're going to convert it into an image. And shablamo, we got our image file for Patcher 9X. So, we'll just see in there. And yep, we got Patcher 9X here. So you can install it. You can install any burn if you want to convert your IMA file to image file, but I'm just doing it for this tutorial. So, first thing we need to do is to create a virtual machine. So let's go. Make sure we'll just go through all that. Make sure it's selected as Windows 98, blah, blah, blah. Now, customize hardware and then add a floppy drive. And that floppy drive is going to be used for installing MS-DOS. But before we install MS-DOS, we're going to add a little command that is in the description of this video, so you can copy it to your VMX file. So I'm going to grab that command and I'll skip ahead of the video. Okay, so we've copied the command. Now into documents and into virtual machines, and then go into Windows 98 VMX, then Notepad, and then below it we'll just add that in and then save it, and shablamo, we got it in there. Now the first thing we need to do is to install MS-DOS, but if you want to install MS-DOS 7.1 or 6.22, video tutorials are in the description below. So I'll just skip ahead after I install MS-DOS 7.1. Okay, I have just installed MS-DOS 7.1. So there we go, we got our thing ready. Now that we've installed MS-DOS 7.1, we can move on swiftly to the Windows 98 installation. So we'll just grab our Windows 98 First Edition ISO, make sure that's connected. We'll move over to D drive and then we'll press Setup. Setup is now going to perform a routine check on your system. To continue, press enter. So let's press enter on this so we can begin our setup for Windows 98 First Edition. As you can see, it's just going to go through its scan disk checkup thingy. So we'll just watch this go, since it takes a while. Now it's checking the laptop now it's checking the operating system for free space. And there we go, we're in. Welcome to Windows 98 setup. Congratulations on choosing Windows 98, blah blah blah. We'll just click continue. Setup is preparing the Windows 98 setup wizard. Anyways, your multi-boot config.sys file may be invalid. That's completely normal. It's going to create a new config.sys file. So yeah, we'll just click Windows. Now setup is checking for installed components and it's checking for available disk space. So setup options, if you just want to go for a normal one, just go for typical. If you just want to go for portable compact, or if you want to unlock the full potential, go for custom. You know me, full potential, I'm going custom. So we'll just enable all the options, and for accessories we'll have all of them enabled. There we go. Then desktop themes, I want that. Yeah, and also multi-language support. Yeah, I want that. Then multimedia. I want every single one of it. And also system tools. We want all 9 components. And web TV for Windows. That's the one I'm looking for. And Wave Top Data Broadcasting. There we go. Let me just check for a few moments. Check that I've got everything. 7 of 7. 17 of 17. Communications, accessories, 12. Accessibility. There we go. We got the full power. Now, Windows 98. That's the one we want. As you can see, our keyboard layout is British and our regional settings is English British. We'll go for United Kingdom. Oh yeah, we also need to create a startup disk. This is completely optional. If you want a startup disk, download the Windows 98 boot disk in the description. So we'll load up this. We'll load up the boot disk. Then click next. Then we'll click OK. Okay, now I've installed our boot disk, so we'll remove that from our drive and we'll start copying our files. So as you can see, we're basically just storming through this installation. It's gonna go by pretty swiftly. So we'll just watch this go by quickly, since this is quite an old operating system. And after this, we need to do one important thing, since Windows 98 is one of the more unsupported operating systems. We're gonna have to install something. Okay. Yeah, the file copy progress is taking a while. But as soon as we enter the first restart screen, do not restart your computer, since we need to install the patch to make it work. So as you can see, it's quite an interesting operating system. Yeah, this also has better games, thanks to DirectX 5. Oh yeah, it also supports more new hardware and it's more accessible, blah blah blah. So, as soon as the file copy progress goes by, we'll be able to get into the next bit. Please register your copy of Windows 98. We can't register our copy now, so we're not restarting our computer first. We are gonna install Patcher 9X. So, Patcher 9X, so we'll just power on VMware. So here we are. We'll go down to boot and removable devices, legacy floppy drives, and then we'll go into our legacy floppy drives to begin the Patcher 9X installation. So we'll go for the default option. So we'll just look at our directory and we'll just press patch. Oh, yeah, hold on a minute. I'll just check on what I need to do quickly. Hold on just a second. Somehow I've been a bit of a fool. I meant to type in patch 9x. Let me just checking on what I need to do next quickly. So yeah, we press enter, and then choice 2, which is our default one, and then apply patches. Hell yeah, I want to apply patches. So there we go, our patch has applied successfully. So we can enter that, and then we'll disconnect our thing here, our guest, and then we can reconnect our Windows 98 ISO file, and back to the installation we go. Whoops, forgot to disconnect that. Restart. Now, here we go. We're going back into the Windows 98 setup. So, as you can see, we are back in the Windows 98 setup. As you can see, this is a good sign. So, it's vital to use patch 9x since Windows 98 is a bit finicky during setup. So, we'll just put in my name. As you know, my name is, of course, Padster da Awesome Dude. Then we can accept the agreement. Okay, this is the product key bit. So, if you're going to use to type in the product key, I highly recommend going for the 2nd edition product keys. Because trust me, I was installing Windows 98 1st edition when I was installing it onto VMware. And when I tried all the 1st edition product keys, they did not work. So, go and type in the 2nd edition product key, link it to this. So go into Windows 9, so go into the link description, get out of here and go to Windows 98 2nd edition and type in the product keys from there. So, I'm gonna go and type in the product keys, and I'll skip ahead in the video after I type in the product key. Okay, I have just typed in the product key, and now we can carry on with the installation of Windows 98. And therefore, it should go quite breezefully since I've installed the patches. And also, I hope the sound driver will work since I added that in there. So, let's just watch this installation go by. Also, I forgot to mention, you could also install it just from the CD-ROM, but I decided to do it through MS-DOS for the sake of this video. Don't worry, I can still boot installation through the OEM full CD, so MS-DOS is completely optional. But I just did it for the sake of this tutorial, so yeah. We'll just let this installation go by. It's currently at 37%, 38%, 39, 40, 41, 42. Yeah, why am I counting the percentage? It's just checking for non-plug-and-play hardware in your computer. Caution, this may take a few minutes and may cause your computer to stop responding. If the progress indicator stops for a long time when there is no disk activity, please restart your computer. Also, one more thing I forgot to do. Also, I'll just go, just in case, I'm gonna disconnect this power on. Also, we're currently at 93%. Windows 98 is now setting up your hardware and any plug and play devices you may have. As you can see, there we go. Now we can restart again. But this is all normal operations. This is gonna go, I'm gonna get through this breezefully. Thanks to the patches, installation of this. Without the patches, before I knew about the patches, installing this was a nightmare. But now we're back in. And now after this, we'll get through the final pieces of installation, such as setting up the time zone, the things and stuff and other things. There we go. We're at the final stretch of the installation. So let's go for that. Now it's going to install the control panel, then the programs on the start menu. Then it's just going to go through Windows Help, Web TV for Windows, thankfully. So we'll just wait for this to go by. Now it's installing Wavetop. As you can see, thanks to patch 9x, the updating system settings thing we'll get through it breezefully. Thanks to no mess ups. And we'll be able to get into the startup screen just fine. Because back when I installed it, I wasn't able to get past it. So we'll just watch the drummer go by, and soon enough we'll be inside of Windows 98 First Edition. So we'll just watch this thing drum on. So yeah, it's still drumming. Yeah, I'm just gonna nickname this the Windows 98 Invisible Drummer. So yeah, waiting for this thing to install, updating system settings, then the final stretch, and there we go, we got it done. Now we can restart our computer, and there we go, no errors. We are finally in Windows 98 First Edition. That's what I call a Padster approved installation. So yeah, I also want to have a bit of enthusiasm while I do these tutorials. Alright, log on screen. Now, if this Sound Blaster thing works, I hope it'll work. Please click OK. Please wait while Windows builds driver information database. Windows installing the software for your new hardware. Oh yeah, and it's sped up weirdly. Now, here we are. We are in Windows 98 First Edition. As you can see, it's running super slow because honestly, I need more storage for my laptop. But I can try and get a 2TB NVMe if I wanted to, and then clone the contents over there. But anyways, I don't want to see this every time I start up. But here we are. We are in Windows 98 First Edition. Now we'll go into register later. continue. And what's going on? Why is it showing an internet connection wizard? No, I don't want to get tuned in. Close out of it. Yeah. Somehow this thing can't. I'm gonna send a Control-Alt-Delete to this. Then end task. Why aren't you closing? Close. End task. There we go. Okay, now that we installed Windows 98, now, only thing I need to do now, go into the control panel. And now this picture just sits here. Lovely. Now we'll just scroll down until we find sounds. Perfect. And also, I like to have a shutdown sound every time. I like to have a nice little shutdown sound every time I shut down my computer. So if you want to add it in, just go down to Exit Windows and choose Log Off. Now, there we go. Now, the first thing to do is to install VMware tools. So we if you want to see how to copy it over to this, if you want to move it over there, just watch my Windows NT 4.0 tutorial. It's really not that hard, and it's quite easy to do. Preparing to install. So welcome to the installation wizard for VMware tools. I want it to be complete, and we'll install. Yeah, it's just gonna write the system registry values. There we go, we've installed it. Now it's installing the SVGA driver, but as soon as we install that driver, Windows 98 is gonna look better. Now we are in. We have finally completed our installation for Windows 98. Let's click finish. Yep, we'll click restart. So there we go, we have the beautiful shutdown sound of Windows 98. So there we go, Windows is shutting down. We'll just disconnect our CDs from there. Now we'll be able to continue to load Windows. Now as we jump into full screen, you get to see a very beautiful image. There we go. That background is much more natural. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Actually, I don't want to see this every time I boot up. Actually, let's restart that again. I want to listen to beautiful startup. this operating system has. So in we go. We are starting up Windows 98 First Edition in its complete state, minus Microsoft Plus, of course. So, how's about we enter this operating system? Now let's go in. So yeah, it's gonna show the Windows, it's gonna play the Windows 98 startup soon, I hope. Hold on, why is it playing it sped up? It's probably due to my slow computer. Yeah, but why isn't it showing the correct aspect ratio? I may have to reinstall VMware tools. I may have to reinstall it, but so there we go. So yeah. So I hope it'll play the I hope it'll have the correct aspect ratio. There we go. Anyways, this is not the correct speed of the startup. This is what the startup is meant to sound like. That's how it's meant to sound like. Also, that is our installation of Windows 98 First Edition. How about we play some Minesweeper? That seems logical enough, so... Yeah, no matter how many times I play Minesweeper, I'm crap at it. Yeah, it happened again, but we'll just run task manager. So yeah, I'll just send Control Alt Delete to get task manager out of the way. Then we'll just end location information. But yeah, that's a bit of a dumb move from me. But nevertheless, we have installed Windows 98 First Edition. Woo! How do you like it? So, I hope you enjoyed my installation of Windows 98 First Edition. I'll show you how to install Windows 98 Second Edition in another tutorial. So from me in this video, this is Pastor Awesome Dude signing off and shutting down Windows 98 First Edition.